Hello everyone, my name is Jesus Ortega. For my final project, I created a game that you can create your own character. You engage in turn-based combat against a CPU character. The combat is calculated by using die. So each move that you choose has a specific die attached to it. That's in the text file here, as you can see. So it'll have like the name of the move, its damage, and then the die type. As you can see, this D12 meaning it's a 12-sided die, D6 means it's a 6-sided die, and so on. So the attacks will do damage based on the base damage multiplied by the side of the die that it lies on. And here's the demo. You enter your name. Then it'll provide you with the list of classes to choose from. I'll go ahead and just choose Samu right here. And then it'll provide you with the list of moves to choose from. I'll just go ahead and pick some random ones. Let's see. So then it'll display your HP at the top. That's determined by the class you chose. Then it'll also show your name and your move set along with the list of moves here. It'll also show the CPU's HP, their name, their class along with their move set. And then as you can see, it'll start your turn. So it says choose a move from your move set to use. It has to be one of those four, so I'll just put slap. As you can see, the damage dealt is 70, and then it'll show the CPU's remaining HP. It'll move on to their turn. It'll delay a little bit. Then it'll show the damage they dealt, and then it'll display your HP, and then it'll repeat the process. So we'll keep playing here. There you go. I did 160 damage, so it brought him down to the -60. If anyone's HP is equals to 0 or below, they automatically lose. So as you can see, it says you defeated your foe, winner. So for my code, I imported these up here. I have the IO file not found, util hash table, util random, util scanner, and util enumeration. As you can see, my game is running on this game class here. At first, I'm declaring and initializing my variables, file name to the move.text. Then I create some hash tables here. This is to hold my moves and my classes. In my main, I have the load moves that loads the file moves.txt, gets the data, and then puts it into a hash table called moves up here. Then we create the CPU. For the parameters, we pick the name of the CPU and also their class. For the player, we do the create player function. That pretty much sets up all of the players' parameters. So let's see. So this is one of the algorithms I talked about in my report, the create player algorithm. So at first, it's going to prompt the user for a name, and then after the user inputs that name, it's gonna store it into a variable of string type called name. Then it's gonna check for classes. That pretty much just displays the classes that are available, and then it'll prompt you to enter one of those classes. So here is where we check if the input is valid or not. If it is, then we're gonna change on to false. So it'll break out of the while loop and then continue onto the algorithm. But if the input is not valid, then it's gonna show this little class entered isn't available, please try again message, and it'll repeat itself until it has some input that is valid. After that, it'll show the check moves function. So that pretty much displays the list of the moves that you're available to choose. It'll say choose 4, and then it'll create a hash table called moveset for the player. And that's pretty much to store each move. So the hash table keys are going to be in string, but the actual object you're storing is of type move. And then after the check moves to display the moves, it'll prompt the user to choose 4 moves. So it'll do the same thing. If the input is not valid, it'll repeat, but if the input is valid, it'll keep going, and it'll do this 4 separate times, one for each move. After that, it'll create the player with the parameters that we inputted, and then it'll return that player. So my battle algorithm works by first checking whether or not the user has won or if the CPU has won. If your HP is below or equal to 0, you died and you're a loser. If their HP is below or equal to 0, you defeated your foe and you're a winner. Then it's going to go ahead and prompt the user to input a move from their move set. It's going to check whether that move is valid, so if it's in that move set or not. If not, it's going to prompt them again and ask them to repeat until the input is valid. But if they put a move that is in their move set, it'll continue on. It'll create the dice objects as well as the dice multiplier. Then we're going to have the total damage calculated by the base move of that, the base damage of that move times the dice multiplier. Then it's going to go ahead and calculate the damage done to the player's HP, set that the CPU's HP to the new HP, and then it's going to display how much damage was dealt and then the CPU's current HP. Something that I would change about my code or improve on it for next time is definitely add some kind of graphical user interface or a graphical component just to give a little bit of more dynamics, makes it a lot more entertaining. Other than that, maybe add some more enemies to choose from, some more CPUs, maybe make them randomized, and then have like something to determine who goes first. Like I was gonna do it on the speed, but I ran out of time, so I would definitely get to that next time.